From the depths of the vault, this is Eerie's Vault Live, your number one stream for the uncanny, the weird, the strange and the unexplained. Good evening, everybody. Or good afternoon, good morning, good middle of the night, whatever it is, wherever you are. And welcome to the show. This is, of course, Eerie's Vault Live, and I am your host, Eerie. As usual, we'll be taking your calls a little bit later in the show, and I'll explain how to do that in a short while. But of course, as always, before we do that, let's have a shout out to my wonderful, wonderful, wonderful patrons: Jonathan Atta, Louise Matthews, Henry, Mr. E, Darren Jump, Steadbot, John Diver, David Morris, Ian Lewis, Ramona Craighill, Stu Graham, Brian Henderson, Jerry Shelton, Ryan, Gaynor Smith, John Douglas, Bizdish 143, Baby with a Laser, Rudolph Hooker, Paul Redruth, Pill Collins, Greg Russell, Iron Bug, Vincent Hegeland, Ben Hurl, Emu Cat, Adam Mitchell, Ginger Ninja, gosh, another page, Farson's Finest, Keith Say, Aaron Osborne, Melv, Heather Maund Jones, Todd Van Voris, Chris Slee, Andrew Dewey, Gregory, Catman, Natalie Leach, Amanda McNeil, Pamela Piffer, Buster Piles, Saw Boss, Baroque Lobster, E.J. Osborne, Zach T, and Craig McClellan. Gosh, what an immense list of top citizens. Thank you ever so much all for your support. The vote of confidence that is the Eerie's Vault Patreon. And for those who didn't know, there is a free option to join that Patreon. A free option if you so desire, just to hop on and be on that there list, I think. So there you go. That's the patrons. Who have we got in the chat this evening? Let's have a look at the poll. Have you ever had an out-of-body experience? 16% of you have had an out-of-body experience. 74% have not. And 11% of you have had an out-of-bed experience. Yes, that's the best a lot of us can manage, isn't it, really? The poll is obscuring the chat, unfortunately. So let's see. We've got Buster. Hello, Buster. Welcome. We have Darren Jump. Hello, Darren. Welcome. Aching Plums is with us tonight. Hello, Aching Plums. Ron is there. I always wonder if that's the Cookie Monster emoji. I don't know what that is. Is it a small whale? My eyes are terribly old. I think it's yay, isn't it? Or something like that. Farson's Finest 1402 now. Where are the other 1,401 of you, Farsons? Hello there. Cat's Life, welcome back. You must have enjoyed last week. Darren, we've said hello to Darren. The Divine Mr. M, welcome back as well. How do spooky crew indeed. We've got Patriot 8769. Good evening, Patriot. Teresa G67. Hello, Teresa. Welcome to the show. Sheppy. Good evening. Time to open the vault. Yes, indeed. It certainly is. It's that time again. Gosh, it comes round quickly, doesn't it? Don't you think? Mr. Atomic Bulldog says, top channel. Thank you very much. What a fabulous username that is as well. Who else do we have? Matt J UK. Hi, Matt J. Welcome. Ian Woods 1338. Hi there. Hello, Ian. The Mad Axeman. I've got to take the dog out back in a minute. Well, if it's in Cannock, be careful, won't you? Farquhar Lion Trousers. Oh, excuse me. Farquhar Lion Trousers says hello all. That's a very big thumbs up. How did you do that? And Stephen Truthseeker is with us as well. Hello, Stephen. Welcome to everybody. Goodness me, it's the weekend again. Doesn't it go fast? Doesn't it seem to have gone fast, even though Monday, Tuesday, etc., as individual days, may in fact have gone terribly slowly? We are heading for the C word, of course, are we not? Christmas. I must plan my streams out a little better. Over Christmas, it'll be Boxing Day, won't it? And the 19th. We'll have to think about that, won't we? DS 9628. Good evening, Eerie. Yes, good evening to you as well. Welcome. Blazing Air 2B. Hello and welcome. It's been another fast week. I can hardly believe it's here already, to be honest. But yes, here we are again with Eerie's Vault Live. And let's see. Yes, the C word is cabbage. That's right. It's Christmas, of course. Glad I've made this live. So am I, Farquhar Lion Trousers. Yes. It's another good name, isn't it? Yes, let's have some eerie news. This one from The Guardian. I feel like I may have read you this already some weeks ago, but I'm getting old, so bear with me. Okay. This is Faceless Figures and Mysterious Music, Ghostly Stories from English Heritage Sites. Alerted to an intruder, the security guard at Chester Castle knew something was up when his normally fearless dog refused to leave the car. When the guard investigated, he felt 100 eyes on him, but found nobody. Oh, what's happened to that? Let me just press this button here. Goodness me, there we go. The cameras did, however, record a strange faceless figure walking in front of the main gates, precisely where the medieval gatehouse once stood. English Heritage is not saying the mysterious figure was a ghost, nor is it saying it wasn't. The sighting was reported with rare documentary evidence after a call-out was made to site-based staff for examples of strange goings-on, whether it was unexplained noises or eerie sightings at properties that include abbeys, castles, stately homes and Roman ruins. The response, said English Heritage, was overwhelming. There was a disembodied hand at Belsay Hall in Northumberland, chilling unexplainable piano music through the walls of Bolsover Castle in Derbyshire, and a sighting of what appeared to be soldiers disappearing into the woods around Rest Park in Bedfordshire. Michael Carter, a curator of history at English Heritage, said the accounts added to a centuries-old tradition of ghostly stories associated with England's historic landmarks. This isn't just a collection of modern fabulations, he said. People can believe whatever they want about ghosts and ghost stories, but what I see it as being, as a historian, is an extraordinary new iteration of the telling of supernatural stories associated with ruins and historic sites that goes back to at least the 16th century. Antiquarians started developing these sacrilege narratives about the fates that would befall people if they despoiled former monastic sites and the spirits that were somehow guarding them. Then, going into the 18th century, you get the birth of the Gothic, and it's how these ruins have all got ghosts associated with them. Then you get Bram Stoker's Dracula, of course, which is even more sinister. The new accounts also shine light on a tradition that goes back even further, Carter said, telling ghost stories together. Isn't that really what we do on a Friday night? Providing a way of understanding our relationship with the dead and the past. The Chester Castle incident involved a security guard who had received a call from the main security console room indicating that cameras had detected unusual movement on site. The guard arrived at the castle and said he felt 100 eyes on him and felt genuinely terrified. His dog, which is the size of a small bear, apparently, was whimpering in the car. The control room insisted there appeared to be an intruder caught on camera and encouraged the guard to investigate thoroughly. He found no one and no signs anywhere of forced entry. The incident was not an isolated one. Louise Fountain, a property manager at Bolsover Castle, said there were so many that they had a book for visitors and staff to report them. We have a ghost book, she says, so that when people say we've just had a strange experience, we record it. And sometimes people put drawings in. She said a staff member recently heard unexplained piano music, and visitors had talked about getting a shove in the back when there was no one there. We've had people walking through our garden and they felt a child's hand start to hold theirs, which is very, very spooky, Fountain said. Other accounts include someone who lives near Horton House in Bedfordshire telling a volunteer that she came every Friday lunchtime to look up at the same ghostly figure in a window. At Rest Park, the sound of a bouncing ball can be heard in the staircase long after the visitors have left. The release of the ghost reports comes ahead of what will be a busy Halloween half-term, or would have been a busy Halloween half-term, at the English heritage sites with ghost tours and other spooky events. Well, there you go, don't you? That's why things are getting reported. Carter said he had vivid memories of the stories his grandad, a caretaker at the Abbey House Museum at Kirkstall Abbey in Leeds, told him. The story was that the Abbey's final abbot died of a broken heart, looking over the ruins of his dissolved monastery, and he haunted it, he said. When he worked nights, his grandad would take his pet Pekingese to work, and she would sit growling at the bottom of a new spiral staircase up to a first-floor chamber. I think I was told that story before I went to primary school, and it made a big impression on me, he said. It took a lot of effort to finally go up that staircase, said Carter. Yes, spooky haunted staircases one can keep, can they not? I think so. We've got M. Mishla from Minnesota. Welcome to the show. I hope you enjoy yourself whilst you're here. So what have we got in the chat? Has anybody had anything to say about all of that? Oh, I'm going to write in on the site about my out-of-body experience. Jolly good, Buster Piles. You can have anonymity, don't forget, if you wish. Yes, for those of you who are not aware, if you head over to eeriesvault.com, there is a case files section, and you can submit your own cases. There's several up there at the moment, and you'll be able to read those that other people have submitted as well. Rather a nice little collection of tales, I think. So if you have one to add, please, by all means, pop over and add it to the vault. Yes, that's right. This from Select Car Leasing. Now, my recent video was about the haunted A75, a road in Scotland between Dumfries and, Carruthers and, as I'm reliably now post-informed, Annan. Not Annan, as I was pronouncing it, but nevertheless, there it is. There are other haunted roads, and here are a couple of them. So, in, where is it? Suffolk? No, yes, Suffolk. The A1065 heading towards Lakenheath. A lone driver heading away from Brandon in 2011, glanced into her rearview mirror and spotted a lad of around 14 years of age just sitting there in the back seat of her car. She looked again, only to see that he had gone, and a similar occurrence occurred to a male driver 3 years later. That's Suffolk, the A1065. In Sussex, the A23. A plethora of ghostly figures have been reported on this road from London to Brighton. Most appear to interact with drivers. One male figure walks in front of the car only to disappear when hit, whilst figures dressed in light-coloured clothing have also been observed at the roadside. That's Sussex, the A23. Wiltshire, the A36. So driving to Somerset, a witness spotted what looked like a person caught in headlights ahead, crossing the road. It moved like a woman, and it half skipped towards the side of the road. As a vehicle in the opposite lane passed straight through it, the figure disappeared, and the witness's own car reached the same spot, and nothing could be seen. Nothing at all. And Devon, the A377 between Copplestone and Morchard Bishop. 2 people were travelling along that road and could hear a motorbike approaching from behind their car. The bike could not be seen, but clearly heard as it overtook the car and accelerated away. Both witnesses were left incredibly shaken by that encounter. Norfolk, Watton Road between Barford and Kimberley. A driver had to swerve to avoid not 1 but 3 figures standing in the road. One of them wore a very long red cloak, whilst the other 2 were dressed as 18th century footmen. The figures paid no attention to their car. The driver later contacted nearby Kimberley Hall to see if they'd had some sort of fancy dress evening, but they had not. Boltby Village. In 2012, one witness in a car reported seeing a white woman wearing an old-fashioned party dress, although the woman's legs disappeared below the knee and the face was blurred. The witness said it was like watching a replay, and although the witness's car headlights did not illuminate the figure, the woman was very, very visible against the darkness of the environment. George's Lane in Nottinghamshire, 2016, and a ghostly entity is reported to materialise on the back seat of passing cars in both these locations. Now, I don't know about you. I sort of don't mind the idea of seeing a ghost at the side of the road as I drive by. I also don't... I really... I do mind. I wouldn't be too frightened if I'd driven through a ghostly spectre. But if there was one sat in the back of my car, that would be another matter. What do you guys think about that? No, thank you. That's my opinion on that. Anyway, on the lane, the figure takes the form of an old lady on the lane heading up to the hill, and then on the hill the figure wears a black hooded garment. Normally the witness only sees the entity in the car's mirror, and when they turn around, it's vanished. Castle Donington, a driver was left shaken after seeing a man wearing a green jacket, dark trousers and headwear standing in the middle lane of a motorway. The driver glanced at her rearview mirror to see whether she could safely brake. She could not, and looking back at the road in front, she realised this man had simply vanished. In Kent, a driver and passenger in 2011 watched as a cloaked figure jumped down from the trees in front of their car before leaping over the vehicle. The cloak could be heard whooshing over their car. The figure was too tall for the driver to see. The figure was too tall for the driver to see its head, rather, although the rest of the entity was described as human-like. And apparently the top 15 counties with the most reports of road ghosts are, in this order I imagine, Wiltshire, Dorset, Essex, Suffolk, Somerset, Norfolk, Kent, North Yorkshire, Sussex, Derbyshire, Lincolnshire, Greater London, Buckinghamshire, Nottinghamshire and Lancashire. Now, believe you me, all of you, and I speak from experience here, there is something about Nottinghamshire. Just take it from me. There really, really is. This from The Sun, this reputable rag. A UFO spotted over Britain was actually a Chinese space rocket, claim experts. A streak of blazing light spotted over Britain was a Chinese space rocket and not a UFO. Witnesses reported seeing a bright pillar of light around dawn last Wednesday. A streak of light emanating from the ground, it appeared, into the sky. Ellie Jarvis, 45, from Devon, was up unusually early when she captured the sight. She said, "I couldn't believe it. We've seen auroras before, but I didn't know what this was. It was so straight and high up in the sky, I wondered if it was a natural trick of the light." Ellie, who has lived in the village for 20 years, added, "I was so surprised when I found out what it actually was. I'd already shared it in our family group chat, and we had all kinds of theories. Scientists said it was most likely caused by the exhaust of a Chinese rocket catching the rising sun. I don't know if they meant to put rising sun like that, in that oriental way. It is Japan, of course, isn't it? Yes, quite, Buster. How did they know it was Chinese? How did they? Where do I get my news from? I spend a couple of hours, Stephen, just trawling for keywords on that there internet, and I find things that I think you might like to hear, and also things that might fill approximately 30 minutes. It's it's a science, I have to say. Yes, so this is from weirdwiltshire.co.uk. Weird things at Stonehenge, odd lights, strange sounds, and local lore. Much has been written and documented about arguably the most famous stone circle in the world, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world and a Neolithic World Heritage Site to boot. But not much, it seems, has been written about the ghostly activity and possibly out-of-this-world activity found up there. I think Weird Wiltshire, you'll find a lot has been written about it. Here and there. You do have to look, mind you. You could also watch my video on Eerie's Vault about the giant slug-like alien that was spotted at Stonehenge. So, this journalist decided to do some digging. Not literally, they say, you understand. I don't think it would be the right thing to start digging holes at Stonehenge. Gosh, this one's got a sense of humour. Interestingly, because Stonehenge is located on the edge of Salisbury Plain, a vast military area spanning the middle of Wiltshire, several of the following accounts come from very credible, professionally employed witnesses. As far as stone circles go, it's very impressive. The fact is, still to this day, nobody really knows the purpose of it. An ancient meeting place, a sacrificial altar for the Druids, a Roman clock, nobody knows who built it, and Wiltshire folklore claims it may have been the devil himself in one single night. Some UFO enthusiasts still maintain it is alien-built. The latest theory heard suggests it's all about fertility, and from a certain angle, when the light hits the altar stone, it looks like, supposedly, a woman's down there parts. I think that's stretching the imagination a little bit. Living nearby, this journalist feels an affinity to the place. Yes, let's skip to the actual things, shall we? A lady called Nixie, this person met. She is a psychic artist, tarot reader, and moon witch. She had a fantastic conversation over coffee and spoke extensively about the magical energy of Stonehenge. She's very connected and interested in elemental energies, nature spirits, ancient beings, and she feels their strength strongly in and around Stonehenge. Nixie said there are many hares that live on the chalk downlands, and one in particular seems quite keen on Nixie when she visits. Nixie explained hares are very important in pagan culture. She acknowledges that, of course, we are in the countryside, so there will be hares, but there is some sort of difference, apparently, in the creatures living around Stonehenge. As a practicing moon witch, Nixie often took a women's circle to Stonehenge to celebrate the solstices and equinoxes. Sitting peacefully with a friend at these stones one summer solstice, Nixie said she noticed 2 small figures walking through the groups of people behind the central circle. No one else seemed to notice them. Nixie struggled hard to understand what she was seeing. These unusual beings were not dressed in everyday clothes. They were child-sized, but not children. She thought of them being very much elf-like. Nixie turned to her friend to point out the elves, but they were gone, and as much as Nixie looked for them throughout the remainder of the gathering, she did not see them again. In one occasion, a weird blob of light was seen to float towards the stones one night, and was initially shaped perhaps like a weather balloon, but then it shape-shifted. Little spikes of light came and went from the blob, and it changed direction, floats above the stones, and then just disappears off again. Again, credible witnesses. And security guards have seen things too. One of them has witnessed a shadow man one night walking around the stones. He said he also heard voices whispering and singing coming from the circle, and on investigation there was nobody around. Strange humming is often heard, and the guards have felt a weird electrical charge or energy. And there it is again, the connection between the energy and the stones. Gosh, that's Stonehenge for you. What do you think about this mystical place? Is it really mystical, or has it just been said to be mystical for so long that everybody thinks it's mystical, if you know what I mean? Think about that disjointed sentence, and we'll be back in a minute. To take part in tonight's show, there are a number of options. You can send a message on WhatsApp, giving a brief outline of what it is you want to discuss, and then wait for my call back. Alternatively, for UK residents, you can call direct on 0141 673 3743 to join the call queue and get through to the live show. And for listeners in the US, you can also call on 929 673 3743. That's 929 Mr. Eerie. That's a New York City number. And if you're too shy to call, then you can always email eeriesvault@gmail.com with your story or your theory, whatever it is you want to talk about, and I can read it out for you on air instead. Remember, this is your show, and I am waiting for your call. Strange encounters, theories about the paranormal, questions about some of the cases I've covered on the channel, whatever it is, as long as it's weird, I want to hear it. Call now to be on Eerie's Vault Live. This is Eerie's Vault Live, and I am your host, Leon Eerie, and this is your number one stream for the weird, the strange, and the unexplained. That's right, the unexplained and the strange and the weird and all that sort of stuff. I'm frantically scanning the chat to see if anybody else has joined. I see From a Twisted Mind. Hello there. Welcome to the stream. Who else have we got? Paul, UK James. Welcome, Paul. Paul Williams as well. Hello, Paul Williams. And, gosh, who else have I seen in here? Let me have a very quick rush through here, make sure I haven't missed anybody. James Glass, hello James, welcome to the show. I'm quite sure I saw Fleur as well very early on, or am I imagining it? Oh, if you're there, Fleur, hello. Now here we have a call. Let me switch to this screen and let me answer this call. Good evening, you're on Eerie's Vault Live.
Hello.
Hello there.
Thank you for taking my call.
Quite.
I just wanted to share a quick, I don't know if it was a haunted road, a time slip, something like that story.
Okay, let's hear what you've got. Are you calling from the States there?
I am.
Magic, that's good, isn't it, eh? The power of the internet. Here we go.
So, a couple of weeks ago, I was driving back with my son from a birthday party and talking to my wife on the phone, and coming up a hill near where we live, while I'm talking, I see, looks like a pair of trousers and shoes. They're transparent, but you can sort of see the outline, and you can see the woods behind them. No torso, no head, no arms, walking down a hill.
Oh.
And I didn't know what to make of it. My brain tried to rationalize it, thinking it was one of the many folks that walk around the neighborhood. But, yeah, weirdest thing I've experienced today.
So clothes, well, like the Invisible Man, I suppose, it sounds like, doesn't it?
Yeah, a bit like that. I mean, you could see through them, so you could see, like, think of standard pairs of men's chinos or jeans, and you could see through it. So behind it, you could also see the outline.
Gosh, like hologram or something. Is the area known for weird things?
Not that I'm aware of.
A pair of trousers
It's a
and
pretty standard U.S. suburban neighborhood. Nothing, strange, interesting, or weird that I know of.
yeah. And was it just you that witnessed that, or did you say there was somebody else with you there?
I mean, my son was in the car and I was talking to my wife, so I guess only I witnessed it. There was one car in front of me. I don't know if they saw it or not. But, and I mean, just real brief, one of those things.
Yeah. Just
say 10, 15 seconds, right?
Sure, yeah.
But something that your mind can't really, wants to put something logical around it and can't.
Yeah, and those are the things that just, when you never get an answer to it, and it might be so brief, and it may not have interacted with you, may not have had really any effect on you at all, but apart from that lingering, just what was it?
Right. Yeah, I mean, definitely, didn't feel, wasn't scared, didn't feel malice or anything like that, and it just, I mean, apart from being no torso and, being transparent yet outlined and visible, you wouldn't think, just look like any person out on a walk.
Sure, yeah.
Walking down this hill.
Yeah, wasn't grotesque or anything like that, so. And you say you have a time slip also. Oh,
sorry.
So did you say you also have a time slip story as well?
I don't know if that would be considered a haunting or a time slip or something else.
I see. Yeah, well, it's like something materializing, but not quite having done so. It sounds like that, doesn't it?
Yeah, precisely.
Very strange indeed. Do you have a history of seeing weird things, or is it sort of a one-off?
It's probably, so I've seen two weird things counting that. The other weird thing I saw, I'll just share real quick and give the line back to someone else.
Okay.
Is August of 2009 in graduate school in North Dakota. A giant black triangle floated over our townhouse while I was outside.
Okay. We're talking.
But I don't think these two events are related. And I've always kind of pegged that off as something coming from the local Air Force base.
I see. Okay. Were there any strange lights on it, or was it a big triangular sort of I'm sorry, go on.
Yeah, just sort of an orange glow around what I'm guessing would be the rear of it, but no marker lights, no sound, and huge.
Huge stealth aircraft or huge UFO. Gosh, Fleur says, ooh, triangle UFOs. Yes, indeed. Quite. The triangular ones are a little more terrifying, I think. But you sound like you just witnessed it, and you're probably not saying, oh, it was a UFO. You just saw it and you don't know what it was.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'll leave it up to to you and the audience to speculate on either of those.
Indeed. That's it, chat. Well, thank you very much, caller. Thank you very much, sir, for that.
All right.
Okay.
Take care.
Yes, you too. Cheerio. There we are, ladies and gentlemen. That is our first caller with a tale of what sounds like a partially manifested thing, humanoid or something like that, and a triangular black craft with no lights, no guide lights, and a strange orange glow to the rear. Paul says triangle craft are probably secret experimental craft. Certainly ones without any lights would be considered rather, what's the word? Intentionally obfuscated. It's not a word, that's two words. But you know what I'm trying to get at. My old brain is reaching for words there. Stephen Truthseeker says, I think I've seen that trousers phenomenon. Not 100%. It was from the corner of my eye a few years ago walking down the street, as if it's spirit manifesting. Funnily enough, I was reading something. It's whilst I was trying to prepare the script for the next show. Gosh, now I'm going to be racking my memory here, but I'm sure it's a UK-based one, a story of a woman who'd seen again, torso and legs and arms, but just the clothing. Just the clothing. No hands sticking out of the sleeves, no head poking out of the neck, and no feet. So curious that that's not the first time I've heard that this week. That's a bit odd, isn't it? Antonio says it was a ghost. That's how they appear. No arms or legs where the rubber hits the road. Is not there. I'm not going to mention ghostly underpants, says Buster Piles. Well, we know about your secret work in the underground of probably the elitist governments of the world, tracking down this damned phantom underpants menace. We are aware, and we're privileged to have you here, Buster, I have to say. Didn't the trousers happen on a Derek Acora program? Gosh, I can't remember that. Maybe they did. James Glass says, saw a triangle UFOs back 15 years ago near the Chapel Cross nuclear station. Here's that word again. About 2 miles east of Annan. Annan. Somebody tell me how to pronounce that, please. From a Twisted Minds, I've seen a triangular black K, that might have got cut off there, UFO with a round blue light on it. In Kingley Vale in there you go, Sussex again. That was just mentioned in that article, wasn't it? One of the most sort of haunted roads, etc., etc. Well, yes, there we go. That's our first call. And speaking of calls, of course, I'll just give you the rules of the road. Our first caller has followed these to the letter. Very impressed. They're very easy rules, really. Number one is no bad language, if you can help it. And rule two is, no politics or hatred, please. We want paranormal mystery and not modern madness here. That's very important that we say that. And of course, if you do call the show, you do consent to be broadcast on Eerie's Vault Live, because that, of course, is what we do, isn't it? Yes, it is. And what is it that we want to hear? Well, as you've heard over several weeks, or if you're new to the show, I'll tell you, it can be stories that happened to you. It can be things that you have heard that have happened to other people. It doesn't have to be a story. It can be an opinion on phenomena. It can be you can talk about a theory that is either your theory or a theory that you subscribe to, or even a theory you disagree with. You can comment about the shows I have produced and the videos I've produced on the channel. I hope you like the sort of late 70s aesthetic on that last video. I kind of think I've hit the style I've been poking around for, because I've last sort of 5 or 6 videos have been slightly different to each other, and I think I've hit a nice style on that one. So yes, you can have opinions on the videos that I've made. Anything weird, let's have it. Don't be afraid to call. And of course, if you want to email instead, and we'll go to the emails in just a moment, then you can email eeriesvault@gmail.com with your story or whatever, and I can read it out for you instead. It's very simple. There's no judgment. We just enjoy hearing the stories. And please don't forget, it is you guys that make the show. I can sit here and waffle on all night long, all night. But it's your stories that really are the interesting part of the show. So, let's head over to the emails, and I have this from someone who wishes to be known simply as LG. So, LG, thank you for your email. LG says, I've recently found your YouTube channel and I thought I'd share an experience I had when I was younger. I must have been around 7 or 8 years old at the time, mid-70s this is, and I'd spend a few evenings a week at my sister's house. Being so young, I wasn't told of the things my sister had seen there, so I had no idea that the place had a presence, until one day, when I was messing about with my brother, who is 2 years older than me, and my sister's younger daughter. I remember my sister and husband were in the kitchen whilst those kids were all playing in the living room. My brother had hold of a skipping rope, and I asked if I could play with it, but he said no. And at that moment, I was what I can only describe as possessed by the spirit of somebody who wanted to cause my brother harm. I remember slowly circling my brother, never taking my eyes from him. My mind belonged to this man who I can still see in my mind's eye. He was old, with white hair and stubble, very thin face and wide eyes. After I walked around my brother, it left me, and I just stood for a few seconds not knowing what had happened, but being so young, I just shrugged it off. It was only years later when my sister told me of things being moved around the house and strange sounds that I realized what had actually happened to me. If you read this on the show, refer to me as LG, and if you'd like any more of my various experiences, I'd be happy to share. Well, LG, certainly, I very much would be happy for you to share them, and thank you for that one. That took a twist, didn't it? That certainly took a twist. I'm sure the chaps in the chat also would really like to hear some more of your experiences. Thank you, LG. Michael sends me something about Heworth, which I think that was you, John, wasn't it? Talking about Heworth, or maybe it wasn't. I apologise if I've mixed that up. The golf course. Michael says, you had on Eerie's Vault Live a chap that described seeing a solitary black cloud in a clear sky over a golf course. It might have been Dingley Dell, actually. This golf course was in, or at least near, the village of Heworth. He said he never heard of that place before, and then described hearing it multiple times after, that as some kind of mysterious coincidence, with a definite suggestion it was a paranormal experience. Michael says, let me introduce you to the cognitive frequency bias, an effect known to psychologists and easily explained, which I have experienced many times myself, he says. The Bader-Meinhof phenomenon, also known as the frequency illusion or cognitive frequency bias, is a cognitive bias where something you've just learned or noticed suddenly seems to appear everywhere. What it is. The frequency illusion occurs when your brain latches on to a new concept, new word, or object, and you begin noticing it repeatedly in your environment. It feels as though the world has suddenly changed, but in reality, your selective attention has shifted. You're simply more attuned to spotting it. The name Bader-Meinhof phenomenon was coined in 1994 after a newspaper reader noticed the name of the German militant group appearing repeatedly once he'd first encountered it. Why it happens. Two psychological processes work together. Selective attention. Once you've noticed something, your brain unconsciously scans for it, making it more likely that you'll spot it again. Confirmation bias says that each new sighting reinforces your sense that it is everywhere, even though its actual frequency hasn't changed. For example, you learn a new word and suddenly hear it in conversation, books, and television shows. You start researching a particular car model and then notice it constantly on the road. You meet someone with an unusual name and then encounter that name twice or 3 times in quick succession. The illusion is powerful because it plays into our brain's pattern-seeking nature. Humans are wired to detect repetition and meaning, so when something new pops up repeatedly, it feels uncanny, almost as if the universe is conspiring to show it to you. Why do nouns dominate the illusion? It's because of distinctiveness, says Michael. Proper nouns, such as a car model or COBOL, which I believe is a coding language, I think, are unusual enough that they grab attention. Pattern recognition. Our brains are tuned to spot repeated labels, words that identify things, more than abstract verbs or adjectives. And social reinforcement. Once you mention a noun to someone, they're primed to notice it too. That's why your friend suddenly started hearing COBOL everywhere. So in this case, the noun or proper noun was Heweth. My own personal and most recent experience of this, writes Michael, was after I mentioned a computer programming language, yes, called COBOL, to a lady who had never heard it before. She then reported in several weeks later that she had heard the word COBOL multiple times since. The man on the live stream also mentioned seeing a Chinook helicopter emerge from a similar cloud on a later occasion, after he'd seen discs dancing in and out of the first cloud. This is starkly reminiscent to a scene from the movie Close Encounters of the Third Kind, where helicopters are used to buzz a crowd of rednecks assembled on a hill to witness another night of the visitors' vehicles after a previous night's show. It strikes me that if the Chinook had emerged from such a cloud, he would have heard it a long time before, when it was either in or behind the cloud. I live close to RAF Odiham, where Chinooks are based. They are very loud and have a very distinctive sound. Michael, thank you very much for that alternative explanation. And, you know, this is what we're all about on the show too. I appreciate having all sides of this to have a good look at and a good listen to. So, Michael, thank you very much indeed for that email, sir. Don't forget, it's eeriesvault@gmail.com if you do want to pop an email in to be read out. From a Twisted Mind, we have a high strangeness. Oh, okay, that sounds like a good story. I'm gonna hold on to that one until after the 10 o'clock break, if that's all right with you. I shall call you after the 10 o'clocker for that one. We've only got about 5 minutes left, so we'll never cram it all in, I don't think, will we? There's a lot of talk of waffles and pizzas and burgers and bacon and Cornish pasties and things in the chat. Yes, I could eat all of those right now. I should do a poll on food. Yes, gosh. Imagine you'd be all sat there starving. Pot noodles, kebabs, loads of stuff. Happy to tell it. Yes, of course. Yeah. From a Twisted Mind. So I'll give you a call after the 10 o'clock. Not a problem. Lots of talk of barbecues here. Waffles. That's because I said waffle, isn't it? Yes, of course. Tony, hello Tony, says my best sighting of a UFO was January 85. A group of lights moving very slowly high up or in orbit. One shot across the sky in an instant. Gosh, that sounds very much like the kind of thing we'd like to chat to you about if you're up for it. The numbers are on the screen there. After the break, by all means, give us a call. James says, Tony, some massive UFOs have been seen, that massive one off Alaska, by the cockpit staff on the Boeing 747 cargo conversion. Gosh, imagine some UFOs would be absolutely gigantic, would they not? Or tiny. The ones that, I think it was, gosh, now, this is old age happening to me, I think. I want to say it was Dingley Dell, possibly. who said there was it in a schoolyard, and the sphere of light was like the size of a basketball. I was very surprised by that, because you rarely hear of things that are that small, really. They tend to be pretty big, certainly 30 feet plus, 25 feet plus, So it was very, very unusual to have heard it that small. James says the triangle I saw from about 2 miles distance had no sound. It was dark grey, and I saw it at about 12:20 p.m. Others saw it later at around 5 p.m. I would say it was the size of a 737. You see, that's more like the size I'd expect to hear. Congy Dave, hello there, says I have a doppelganger experience. Oh, gosh. Do you know, you've just given me a memory there. 80s video rental shops. I think everybody on the here will remember those, won't you? And there was a film, I'm sure, called Doppelganger. And I can sort of see the poster for it in my head. And every time we went into the video shop, aside from the rather dank smell, I always was frightened of the doppelganger movie poster. But Dave says I have a doppelganger experience from 1996. There was a UFO experience at the same time. How do I share? Goodness me. Well, that sounds like a cracker to me. You've got a number of options, Dave. You can, by all means, call the show. So after we take the 10 o'clock break, call the show. You should be able to see the numbers on screen there, but I'm going to read them out to you as well. So I'll give you a couple of seconds to scramble around and find a pen. If your house is anything like my house, you'll have no idea where the pens are, but maybe you can write this down. So if you're in the UK, Dave, you can call 0141 673 3743. That's 0141 673 3743. And if you were in the USA, it's 929 673 3743. It's 929 Mr. Eerie. There you go. Got it. Magic Dave. Very good. If you give us a few minutes, it's almost pot of tea time for my good self, then yes, by all means, we'll have From a Twisted Mind and hopefully Dave just after that break. I've missed out on this story that Tony is... I've missed out bits of this. A soft woman's voice said my name, came from right above my head, very close. I looked up a top floor, which was haunted by a woman. Goodness me. Tony, by all means, feel free to call in with that one as well. We're about to hit the top of the hour, folks, as they say. So let's take a very short break. And I shall be with you, well, in a few minutes. YouTube show is only a part of the vault. Beyond the broadcast is the archive. And at eeriesvault.com you'll find our growing library of case files, first-hand accounts of the unexplained, written reports from people who lived through something strange. And we need yours. If you've carried a story for years, if you've never had the chance to put it into words, and this is where it belongs, your report will stand alongside others, building a record that may one day help us see patterns that we cannot see alone. And it's easy. Go to eeriesvault.com, open the Case Files page, and hit the Submit a Case button. Fill in the details and send it on its way. Because strange events pass quickly into silence unless someone records them. Don't let your story vanish. Put it in the vault. From the depths of the vault, this is Eerie's Vault Live. Every Friday at 9 p.m. GMT, the lines are open. UFOs, aliens, ghosts, strange creatures, time slips, encounters you cannot explain. If you've seen something unusual, if something has haunted you, followed you, or simply left you wondering, then this is your place to tell it. Call in and share your story. You can watch the show live on YouTube or stream it directly at eeriesvault.com. And if you're too shy to call, then you can email ahead of the show at eeriesvault@gmail.com, and I will read your story out for you on air. That's Eerie's Vault Live, Friday nights, 9 p.m. GMT. Be part of it. For those of you who want to go deeper, there is the Eerie's Vault Patreon. Here you'll find the evidence. Original newspaper clippings, forgotten publications, rare documents. You'll see the raw material behind the stories, and you'll gain access to exclusive videos, some filmed on location at the very places we discuss, and you'll be able to watch private follow-up videos to the cases already covered on the main channel. It's not just about watching here, it's about joining the search, and by supporting the Vault, you help to keep the archive alive, help uncover more material, and help to bring these stories into the light. And if you've ever wondered what all these marks are on this map here, well, patrons get access to this interactive encounters map to peruse at their leisure. It gets updated regularly and will grow to be one of the most comprehensive encounters maps in the world. If you've ever wanted to be closer to the investigation, if you've ever lies behind the curtain, then Patreon is where it begins. And with numerous membership options, what are you waiting for? Head over to the Vault. This is Eerie's Vault Live, and I am your host, Leon Eerie, and this is your number one stream for the weird, the strange, and the unexplained. It certainly is, and I have an eager beaver on the phones. Thank you for being so patient during the break. We're going to take this next call, and then I'll get to you, John. Good evening. You are on Eerie's Vault Live. Thank you for waiting.
No worries. No worries at all. Thanks for taking my call.
Quite. So what do you have for us tonight?
So this is Congy Dave.
Oh, Dave.
Yeah, how you doing? Quite serendipitous, actually. I just kind of sat down and you popped up on YouTube, and I was like, oh, okay. So here we are.
Give that a go. Well, that's good, isn't it? Tell us about this doppelganger then, Dave.
Yeah. This was like, as I say, around 1996, and there were two kind of events that aren't really linked apart from, I guess, time.
Okay.
This was a house that I used to live in growing up. I lived in it with my mum, and I just came home from school, and I walked into the kitchen, and my grandmother was there, and my gran, and she said, "You've got a ghost," which like is not the best thing you want to hear.
No, not really.
The first thing when you come in. And I said, what do you mean? She said, well, I was walking towards the house with her friend, and as she was walking towards the front door, she looked in the kitchen, saw me, waved at me. I waved back and started walking towards the front door.
Oh.
She waited by the front door, had a conversation with a friend. No one answered the front door. She knocked. No one answered. She waited, and eventually she had a back door key, so she let herself in through the back. House was empty. About 2 hours later, I came home from school.
Who was she talking to?
Well, she was talking to a friend, but who, like, the question is, who was she waving at in the kitchen and waiting for this, whoever it was, to come? And she says, I thought it was you, just like you. I used to wear like it was 96, so I had like quite a baggy hooded top on.
Oh, yeah.
And she said this person had a big baggy hooded top. And, I thought it was you, and I waved, and they waved back, and they walked towards the front door. So I actually didn't wear that hooded top
ever again
after that day. Because, I was like, part of me was like, this is, is this a premonition, or
an omen or something?
Your mind sort of goes on overdrive, really. So just to be on the safe side, I thought, well, I won't wear it again. But that was it, really. That was as far as that sort of the doppelganger. It was actually my gran that saw a spitting image of me. I don't know if it was a time slip or whatever. Those sort of theories. It was it was a weird one. But my gran was adamant that she saw me, she waved at me, and I ultimately wasn't in the house.
Did you notice any sort of? Sorry, how old were you at this point?
I was like 96, I was like 15.
Okay.
15, 16. Yeah.
Any sort of? Do you recall any sort of big changes in your life after? The reason I ask that is that the classical sort of view of, in German folklore certainly, is this doppelganger, which I believe is double walker or something like that. And I suppose in the West we sort of think of it as a twin or a reflection, but it's actually supposedly an externalized duplicate of a person. And it used to be seen before big changes in people's lives. So I just wonder if anything happened afterwards, apart from not wearing the hoodie anymore.
My favourite hoodie. That was, I'm not entirely sure. Like, there was I don't think there was any like deaths or anything like that. There was nothing like seriously dramatic to my knowledge. I guess it was, it was quite a trying, stressful time around that anyway. Sorry, just being like a teenager and all that sort of stuff. So, but apart from anything that was like really noticeable that I can like clearly remember, I'm not too sure, to be honest. As far as the doppelganger is concerned, but yeah, I did. Obviously, there was a UFO incident which happened in pretty much the same, obviously, location, but in the sky, not in the kitchen. And that was we just pulled into like the driveway, got out of the car. I was with my mum. We looked. Well, I looked in the straight up, and it was a black triangular craft.
Oh, another one of those.
Really slow, really, really slow. I actually was an aeroplane, but then I realised it was making no noise. It was going so slowly that you say, "Oh, is that a helicopter?" But as I said, it was silent, and I could clearly see 3 white lights, a red light in the middle, and a black triangular craft going in the direction with, I guess, a triangle facing forward. The point facing forward in the way it was going. And I said to him, "What's that?" And she said, "I don't know." We just kind of looked at it, and then it just slowly went behind the tree line, and didn't really think anything of it after that whatsoever. And it was only like years later when it just kind of like, "Oh, so wait a minute," like yeah.
Was that around the same time as the doppelganger thing? Or
yeah, it was. Yeah.
See, that makes it weird, doesn't it? Straight on.
It really does. Yeah.
And was it after it or before it?
Do you know what? I can't remember. I really, unfortunately, I can't remember which one came first. To be honest, like I say, I think with the UFO memory, like I'd kind of just brushed it off because it was kind of like, I don't know, just something that didn't think about it that much, and then it was like a few years later where I was like, that was it just kind of hit me again. I was like, bloody hell, that's weird.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, was it massive, this thing, or sort of what sort?
Do you know what? I couldn't. I couldn't. I thought it was perhaps like a large aircraft. From there wasn't that much atmospheric interference, if you know what I mean. Right. So I assumed that it was like a low flying aircraft, but there was no. Usually, you could tell because there's a sound indication from most craft that you naturally just you can, you
get a sense of them, don't you?
Yeah. You get a feeling of the reverberation, the sound, etc. But with the silence of it, it was really hot. It almost felt like it shouldn't be it shouldn't be there really. Yeah. The way that it was kind of so quiet, so slow.
An intruder.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah. But so that was it really. That's my sort of experiences.
Were you sort of into that stuff before you saw it, or was there no real lead up to it? Some people are really into that stuff, aren't they? And then they see things, and
then they're like, "Yes, it's sort of
proof."
Yeah. No. I mean, I think the closest thing I had was I'd go to the library, as a kid, and then you go down the paranormal section.
Yes.
And then look at the ghost books of the time, or maybe the UFO books of the time. Perhaps when I was like a kid.
Yeah.
And I think that really interested me because that was in the library, and that there was a whole aisle dedicated to it, and therefore, it's something that grown-ups read. I assume that this must be real. But apart, I didn't have UFO posters up or anything. I was more into rave music and and things of a teenager of the 90s were, but nothing to do with I wasn't mad for anything like that really. So yeah, no, it was just it was a bit weird.
Just a weird thing that happened to you. Yeah, gosh, yeah. Well, it's a good story, certainly. Happening together at the same time. Yeah, that feels weird to me. But let's not push that.
No, we'd have to go on that rabbit hole.
No,
just for my sanity. But just on a side note, I jumped back into this a few years ago, and I teach. I'm a lecturer in design at the University of London now, and I started looking into modern folklore and all that, and I ended up building a 1-to-1 scale statue of the Sandown Clown.
Oh wow!
From the Isle of Wight.
Well, that's my favourite case.
Oh right, yeah. Last September, I gave it back to I made an 8-foot Sandown Clown and gave it back to Sandown. So that's just been in the 14 times as well.
Oh gosh, have you emailed me recently about this? It's that, Dave. Right. Now I'm with you. I'm going to reply to that email, most certainly.
Lovely.
Sorry for the delay. I only look at them once a week, you see.
Do you know what? I do pretty much as well, no worries. But keep your eyes peeled for the Alfred Bertu 2, what you're calling them. They're very, very close to being finished, and I've already been to Basingstoke Canal, spoke to the local community there, the cafe. There's like a carp fishing pond, which is very close to the actual incident. And I'm going to take the two little aliens back there and see if they can have somewhere to live. And obviously I'm not going to put them on the side of the canal. That'll be early next year.
Well, that sounds fabulous. That's the same two aliens, of course, that just flatly rejected poor old Albert.
Yeah. It was a shame, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They said, "Sorry, you're too old for our abduction. Get back fishing."
Yeah. Poor lad.
So I'm cracking on with that, and then I've got another one in the pipeline. So I'm continuing.
Well, that sounds absolutely fabulous. Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, right. I'll let you carry on talking to whoever's going to
smashing.
Even more interesting cases. But it's great to talk to you.
Next. Yes. Thank you very much, Dave. And I shall reply to that email. Thank you.
Lovely. All right. Fantastic. You take care.
Yeah.
Great show, by the way.
Thank you very much.
Loving everything that you're doing.
Smashing. I'll take that.
Carry on.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
Take care.
Good
Bye-bye.
night. Cheerio.
Night. Bye.
Mr. From a Twisted Mind, I'll be with you very briefly, but doesn't that sound wonderful? The statue of the Sandown Clown. I need to see that, of course. And Albert Bertu's two aliens. Are you all having phone problems in the chat? Goodness me. We don't have a synchronicity happening, do we? From a Twisted Mind, I'm about to call you. If I can find the button that says call. Ah, there it is. Here we go. Let's see what John's got for us tonight.
Hello there.
Good evening, John. Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Eerie. I can't pronounce your Christian name.
It's Leon.
Leon?
Yeah, that's it. It's like Leon, but Leon.
Leon, right. Because whenever you say it, because your accent, I'm going, hey?
Yeah.
How the devil are you, mate?
I'm not so bad. How are you?
Very good. All the better for you. Yeah. Did you get my photographs I sent you? The orb?
I did somewhere. Oh, excuse me. I must just put that down. I did. I can't lay my hands on them immediately, but I think, did you WhatsApp them?
Yes, I did.
Yeah,
WhatsApp,
yeah. I will have saved them to the PC somewhere, so I shall find them.
Yeah.
But yes, I did get them.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know times of this. It's I've got a tale of high strangeness, ghosts, reincarnation, everything's in there, and it's true. And it started from the minute I was born, before I was born, and it's ongoing.
Well, there. How's that for an introduction? Let's go.
Okay. Well, when my mum was 15 years old, unfortunately, our mum took her own life. So my mum ended up moving in with my dad, which was unheard of back in those days, you know. It was unheard of, and they had separate rooms and so on. Anyway, so obviously I never met my maternal gran. Never met her. So when I was about 6 years, parents had just brought us bunk beds, and me being the oldest, I was in the top bunk. So what happened was I'd had an illness, some sort of fever, whatever. I was recovering, and I was in the bunk bed one night, and I woke up, and I felt very odd, very peculiar, didn't feel right. I was only 6 years old. Eerie feeling, felt weird. Opened up my eyes and looked around the room, and it was pitch black, obviously. But then I thought I was seeing things, and what I can only bear in mind that I'm in the top bunk, so my head's probably about 3 foot from the ceiling.
Yeah.
What I can only describe as being an ethereal fishing net floating on the top of the sea. Across, just below the ceiling, and it was undulating and moving, and it was spectral and it was white. It looked like a fishing net. And I thought, obviously, I'm 6 years old. At that age, you've got no comprehension of anything weird, have you?
No,
or anything ghostly or paranormal,
In fact, you probably accept a lot more than you would when you're older.
You do, but it scares you because no one teaches you these things or tells you about these things.
Yeah.
But what happened next was terrifying. I saw what I could only describe as a figure that I would call a hag or a witch, and that it was a head. It wasn't a body. It was a disembodied head.
Oh.
And it was right next to mine, and it was looking down on me. And it was black-haired, wide-eyed. It looked like a witch, what you think a stereotypical witch would be from the old, black and white films. It terrified me. I closed my eyes, looked back, and it was there, right near me. And I couldn't take my eyes off of it, and I was petrified. I ended up wetting the bed. And it was there, looming over me for ages. So that was a thought I put out of my head for many years, like you do. And, so I completely forgot all about that. I lived in County Cork in Ireland between 2008 and 2013. Fast forward to then, my parents come over to visit me. I was married, I had kids then. So my mum comes up, my parents come over. Mum being mum, she's brought over all sorts of things, one of which was loads of discs of family photographs, lots and lots of discs of family photographs from Dad's side of the family and hers. I was going through those photographs, and I just froze when I looked at one of them. It was the woman that was above my bed. It was that face.
Okay.
And what's worse was, I was straight on the phone to my mum. By this time they'd gone back to England, and I was still out in Ireland. So I phoned my mum up, chatted to her, blurted out, "Mum, who's that in the photograph?" "Oh, that's my mother."
Oh,
that's my mother. Right. So this is where it all started. Okay. Like I said, I was on a couple of weeks ago. You graciously had me on a couple of weeks ago.
Yes.
And like I said, my whole bloody life is, I call it high strangeness, interconnectivity, oddness, right?
Shaking trees and
yeah,
illnesses from alien entities. Yes, I remember your calls very well. Yeah.
So obviously that freaked me out a little bit. By that time I was about 43, 44 at the time. What's that, 15 years ago or whatever it was now? So bearing in mind that my poor gran committed suicide, and linking up the fact that this scary face of a hag, a witch, to think that face is my nan, because the photograph I saw that my mum sent me, I mean, that's mind blowing.
It is mind blowing. Was the face in this net
No, what it was below the net. The net was just below the ceiling level, and it was undulating as if you've got a fishing net on the surface of the sea.
Yeah.
And she was underneath. The head had no body, but it was underneath there.
Gosh.
So that's where it all started. Moving forward from that, I returned to England in 2013 with my family. Marriage went belly up. And then I was on Facebook one day. I won't tell you the whole story about that because it's too long. But I decided that, accept your marriage is over. And my wife was away, and I'd done something very silly that involves a certain type of mushroom. Had a weird experience on that. I won't go into it. But basically, I reached out to the universe and asked for someone to come into my life. And I literally went through like a tick list of things I'd like in a potential partner.
Yeah.
Within 2 months of that happening, I got a friend request from a woman that I didn't know. We've got many mutual friends, like the same band, the Stranglers, all sorts of interests.
Yeah.
And it just blew me. I thought I'd never seen anyone so beautiful in all my life. Just blew me away. So on my birthday, I went to meet this woman for a drink. There's a weird experience I had there. I had all these things come into my head after a couple of drinks, and she went upstairs for a wee and to the toilets of this pub we're in Brighton. And when she came out, I said to her, "Look, I've got these things to tell you. Just come into my head, and I feel compelled to tell you." I told her, I won't say what they were, but I said to her, you're married, your husband beats you about this, that, and the other, blah, 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 blah. She went white as a sheet, okay? She went white as a sheet. Anyway, that woman became my muse, because my name's John, but the account I've got is because the band I was in, the band I run, called Twisted Blind, it's a band. She became my muse, and she's the first woman I've ever truly connected with, and she was the woman that was with me at Kingley Vale with the orbs and the UFO.
Okay, right.
Okay, so bearing all that in mind, in 2018, my parents said to me, "Oh, how's things going? You seeing Claire this weekend?" I said, "Yeah." They said, "Oh, drop by, when you're with them, drop by." So I dropped by, and Mum said, "That's all right, just pop in." So I left them, Claire and her daughter, in the car. Popped in. My dad got chatting. The minute I was chatting to my dad, my mum cunningly, it was a hot day, got some ice lollies out of the freezer.
Yeah.
As I was talking to my dad, thought she'd be kind and introduce herself to me, to my girlfriend.
As you do.
And offer them a nice lolly, you know? Well, she did. Afterwards, Claire said, your mum went very weird. She looked scared. She went white. She stopped talking. I said, "Oh, really? Why is that then?"
Yeah, why?
Yeah, exactly. Well, the reason was, and I found this out the same night because I phoned my mum up. I phoned my mum up later when we'd done our stuff and got back home.
Yeah.
Her mum said, "Yeah, that was weird." And I said, "What do you mean?" My mum claims that Claire is the spitting image of my nan.
Oh, wow. Now then, you know what? I wasn't expecting that. No.
Yeah, and it gets even worse because before I met Claire in 2016, January the 12th, my birthday, 2016. Going back 2002, I was working as a brickie on a site in Ashington, and I remember the guy that drives the load-all, that puts the bricks up on the scaffold and and unloads lorries and so on. I remember the guy there chatting away to him, and we're all builders. Lunchtime, they brag a lot. A lot of BS goes on,
Yeah.
And I like the guy, and he liked me, and we were chatting away, and he produces a photograph, and he shows me a photograph of his wife. Now, I was a bit of a punk back in the day, and I still am a bit of a punk rocker, hence the band.
Yeah.
And the weird thing is, he showed me a photograph, and again, I just went, my goodness, he's like a model. Jesus Christ, mate, you're really, really lucky there. I showed him a photograph of my wife, and he went, Jesus, she's gorgeous, she's stunning. Jokingly said, do a swap. Just mucking about. Bit of banter at work. Okay?
Yeah.
And he turns around to me and says, here, what are you scratching your arm with? You got a tattoo? I went, yeah. I showed him a tattoo on my left, top of my shoulder, top of my arm. And it's like similar to the Lacoste crocodile.
Okay, right, yeah.
But it's from the Rossiter, not the English, but the Irish Rossiters from Wexford. And it is from their coat of arms. So I showed him this. He showed me his. He's got the same tattoo, but he's not a Rossiter. Okay?
Okay.
Right. This is all interconnected.
Yeah.
So you've got that. Move forward to 2004, I think, before I went to Ireland. I'm with my wife in Brighton. We're going out for a meal, walking on the road near the clock tower, and this long-legged, slim beauty with one side of her head shaved off and a leather jacket, stunning, walked past me, gave me the eye and a sort of like seductive leer. And I shouldn't have done it, but I looked over my shoulder at her. She smiled at me. I smiled at her, and I was bowled away. Okay. Works out in 2016 when I met Claire to 2018. She showed me some photographs of herself. She was the girl that I walked past in Brighton, the same girl that had an effect on me. And her husband was the guy who I work with who's got the same tattoo as me.
Oh my God. No way.
Their son is called Jack. He was born in 2000. My son, Jack, was born in 1996. There's just so many parallels.
Yeah.
It's just weird. You can't make up real life, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. And that's gone well beyond just a couple of coincidences.
I could go into it a lot deeper and a lot further, but I won't bore everyone. But yeah, what set it off was the asking for obviously my mum with the photographs.
Yeah.
With the photograph and the experience as a 6-year-old.
Yeah.
But the fact that I come across I went to a funeral last year, saw some cousins that I hadn't seen for many years. And we were chatting away and showing photographs, and I showed one of my cousins. He went, "Oh my God, that looks like Nan."
Yeah.
It's bizarre. It's just bizarre,
and it's obviously that clear, then, isn't it? The resemblance. Yeah.
I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll WhatsApp you some photographs on the on the WhatsApp. I'll ping you some photographs over because all this is true. But what worries me is why.
Yes.
Why do all these things happen?
Why me, kind of thing. Yeah. And like we say, some people just seem to be just wired into it all. Yeah. Yeah. It feels almost. It feels almost like even though the face was a witch, it was when you first saw it. It's like she's having a look at the grandson,
That's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought perhaps she was checking in on me.
Yeah, it feels like
I've been ill.
Yeah. Who knows?
I shouldn't mention this, but I will. But the sad thing is, my on-off girlfriend, my muse, Claire, who looks like my nan. She was a bloody practicing witch.
Right.
and she doesn't like talking about it. And she's had one particular incident happened that put her off of all of that.
Well, yes,
before I met her.
I can understand that. Yeah, I can well understand that. So yes, I don't blame her. Sometimes when you just want to switch it off, you leave it switched off. Yeah.
I mean, the other thing is, potentially you've got a ghost there. When I was 6 years old, you've got interconnectivity. But that's what it is. I think a lot of these paranormal or spiritual or odd occurrences, phenomena, I think somehow they're linked and they're unexplainable. But obviously, I think in the future, we'll have all the answers, but we just haven't got them at the moment.
I think when we get to wherever it is next, I think that's when the answers come, personally, whatever they are.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fascinating. Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on that, Mr. Eerie?
Well, I mean, it's difficult when you weren't having the experience to sort of react to it without. It's a funny position being Mr. Eerie, as it were, because you don't want to give an opinion sometimes in case the person says, "Oh yes, that must be what it is." But it certainly has overtones of the Gran coming to have a good look at you, and especially this net thing as well. It's like the divide between two places, whatever you want to call them. And then,
because at 6 years old, you've got no concept of ghosts or the spiritual, have you?
Not in that regard. It's a sheet over the head, isn't it, or something like that. It's not like that. And then maybe just the continued, looking out for you and being in your life, it feels like, but obviously that's only my opinion on it as somebody who's heard it secondhand, third hand, so yeah, it's fascinating though, really is. Yeah.
Well, there you go. Yeah, I'll let you get on with your show, and great community, nice people on the chat, and you're doing wonders. And we all appreciate it, mate.
Fabulous. Thank you very much, John. Thanks for the call.
All right, you take care now.
You too, mate.
I'll let you crack on, all right?
All right. Cheerio.
Cheers, mate. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, I do feel as that there's a wholesomeness to the experiences. I feel a little chill. I feel a little hairs on the arms vibe there. And I think that's, I'm certainly getting a feeling of, good in that. Tony, the lines, let me switch the line back on. This antiquated system of mine. Let's get it up. It's called Zoiper. I don't know if anybody's ever used it. It's very, very finicky. Right, it's back up. So Tony, or anybody else, in fact, who fancies a call, just very briefly, one more time, here's how to do it. To take part in tonight's show, there are a number of... forget how to do it. We've got a live one. Good afternoon. It's not afternoon, it's evening. Welcome to Eerie's Vault Live.
Hi there, Eerie.
Hello there.
It's Tony.
Tony, well done. You got through. Have a medal.
Well, I'm phoning about the when I had my name called. I'm working a haunted building, a casino,
right,
in Portsmouth, and well, it was one day. I'll try and be as brief as possible. I was on the top floor on my own. I had come out of a toilet, just turning a corner to go down the main staircase, and I heard a woman's voice say my name, and it came from right above my head. And when I say above my head, I mean inches away, like someone had leant over you.
Yeah.
And she said, Tony, in a very sort of soft voice. Although I knew I'd definitely heard this, I was instantly looking for an explanation, and of course there was none. I told people about it because there had already been some sort of poltergeist activity in the casino, and but not much. But people knew it was spooky.
Yeah.
Some believed me, and some were taking the mickey. And then about 2 years later, let me explain. The building was 3 floors, but the casino wasn't on the ground floor. The casino was the first floor. There was a casino, a gaming floor, and a card room on the first floor.
I see.
And on the top floor, there was just a restaurant. The staff room and a little store.
Yeah.
And a hallway that went to the restaurant.
And the toilet, of course.
And
yeah.
And what happened was, although we had tea and coffee making facilities in the staff room, what we used to do is go into the kitchen and wash our cups up. And there was only a little foyer between the staff room door and the kitchen door. And a couple of years later, there was a girl who had the last break. So this was like just before 4 o'clock in the morning, and she was upstairs on her own. The restaurant was closed. There was no one in the kitchen, and she had just gone into the kitchen and was washing her cup up when she heard a woman's voice say, "Good evening and welcome."
Oh.
So she's then turned round to see who it was, because obviously she was surprised that there was someone up there.
Sure.
And of course, there was no one there. Well, she then totally freaked, screamed, dropped the cup and run down the stairs.
I'm not surprised.
And then about 20 minutes later, once we had closed, because I didn't know what had happened.
Yeah.
I saw her in the gaming floor looking really upset. And I thought, oh, what's up with Yvonne, her name was. And then I saw her being escorted out of the gaming floor with a female either side of her. And I thought, what the hell's going on there? And of course, they were escorted. She had to go back up because we had closed then, and she had to go back up to the staff room to get her coat and handbag.
Yeah.
And she wanted 2 females to escort her back up there to get it.
Wow.
She was so terrified. And that was, and the other one was the kitchen staff. There was a waitress and the kitchen porter were closing down the kitchen, and you had the waitress standing behind a counter. She was facing the doorway that went, because in the kitchen, it was a galley kitchen. You had the doorway to go into the staff room at one end, or the back staircase, and a doorway to go into another foyer at the other end, and then you could walk into the restaurant.
Okay.
And they were both facing this foyer, the restaurant, that side of it. He was actually mopping the floor right in front of the door, and she was wiping down the surface facing him. And all of a sudden, he just dropped the mop and said to her, "Did you see that?" And she looked at him and said, "Yes."
Oh.
And what they had seen was a grey shape of, they could see enough that it was a woman in a dress, walk past from the restaurant to the back staircase. And he just run off, and it took them ages to persuade him to go back into the kitchen to finish tidying up.
Gosh, it must have been very vivid, very vivid sight.
And he left soon after that. Yeah, I mean, she was fine. I know the lady, and she was absolutely fine because she has had paranormal stuff herself before.
Right.
She was calm with it, but he just lost it completely.
Yeah. No, thank you.
But she would do. Some people, you see something walk past you. But it's quite funny because where that ghost was walking we had these big oak doors. You know, the ones that have got the alarms on, and they will shut themselves sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
They got the alarms on. Well, when we closed the casino at the end of the night and they put the alarms on, they'd make sure all those doors were closed, because if one of them was open, the alarm wouldn't set.
Yes.
And when I first worked there, one of the managers, if I was on with him, because I was like an inspector and there were a couple of dealers, he'd go, "Oh, that door isn't, the alarm's not setting. It's that door up the top. Can you go and close it?" And I'd say, "Oh, get one of the dealers to do it." And he'd just go, he'd look at me really sternly and say, "Tony, you do it."
Yeah.
And I think he had seen something.
He didn't want to go up there himself.
Quiet. This is when it was first opened as a casino, because a lot of the ghostly activity didn't happen until about 10 years later. But at first it was just bits and pieces, poltergeist activity. But I think he had seen something, because there was no way he was going up there, and I had to go up the main staircase to the first floor, and then go round the corner into the back staircase, which is what the staff use.
Yeah.
And there'd just be like moonlight coming through the windows, and I had to go up to that door, close it, and then I'll be back down them stairs, 2 flights of stairs, faster than you saying.
Yeah, that feeling where you just think there's something behind you. It's like when you used to turn the lights off as a kid.
Eerie, that was before I actually had, when I was spoken to.
Oh, it was.
That would have been probably a good 10 years before, because I worked there for a couple of years the first time, and then went back a few years later, and then did another 10 years there.
Yeah.
But this was before, because there's no way I would have gone up there if this had happened.
If you've heard it, yeah.
Because whenever I had to go upstairs, honestly, the top floor, there was a woman that haunted that top floor.
Mm.
There were lots of instances later on where both the staff and customers, or the members of the casino, had seen things. And one of the there were 2 ladies. I always used to play a fruit machine, and my wife was a waitress there, and my wife got to know them very well. And one of them told my wife that she had seen a ghost when she was actually leaving the building. As she was going out, there was a woman in front of her in a black dress that went out the door, and this lady had to go out the door and turn left to go over to the car park to get her car. And she said this woman in the black dress walked in front of her at the same direction, went off to the left. But then all of a sudden, as she was going across the road, the woman just disappeared, evaporated.
I wonder what routine the ghost woman is performing there. I wonder where she's going.
It's the same one, but we had another customer who was sitting at a roulette table on his own. I saw the aftermath. I didn't know what was going on. He was a very straight-laced man. He had been sitting on a table on his own, playing roulette on his own. No one around him. He had 2 of his friends on another table. And all of a sudden, I saw him get up, and he was like looking around everywhere and looked really sort of concerned. And I thought, oh, what's going on? Then he was talking to his friends, and he still looked really concerned. And I thought, what's going on over there?
Yeah.
And then eventually, one of his friends come round. I said, what's going on with, said the man's name. And he said, he said someone's just tapped him on the shoulder.
Oh.
Said, all right, mate. So he turned round to see who it was, and there was no one there.
Oh, my God.
No one near him. And it was the man's voice. So,
and
that figure, because there's other, there were other instances where a man had been heard or whatever. So,
and Darren,
that was just some of the things in that building. And it's opposite 2 buildings that are famous for being haunted. If you looked in a Ghost Gazetta, there would be the Theatre Royal, Portsmouth, which was haunted by a Victorian actor that killed himself.
Yeah.
And next door you had the White Swan pub, or known as the Mucky Duck. And there was a Victorian barmaid that was murdered by her husband, apparently. And that they're famous for being haunted, but our building was opposite.
And Darren in the chat has just said, I wonder what the building was before it became a casino.
I forgot to tell you that. It was built, as far as I know, it was built in 1920. The man that had it built was a very rich man, and he turned it into a very posh restaurant. And the restaurant was over 3 floors. They had all 3 floors with the lift. And it was supposed to, they had the head chef worked in the Waldorf Astoria in New York. It was like one of the top restaurants in the south of England in the 1920s and 30s. And he was there, as far as I know, he was there until about 1950s. Or maybe the 60s.
Okay.
But he was a philanthropist. Can't say it. I got my teeth in. And he had been a counsellor as well, but he'd given a lot of money away.
Right. Yeah.
And towards the end, because I think after its heyday was before the Second World War, after the Second World War, I think it went downhill. But he used to give free Christmas dinners to the OAP.
Oh, nice.
And it would be absolutely mental with them all queuing up to go in. But, he was a good man.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was one of the poshest restaurants on the South Coast. Because I tried to find out about the building, but it was more about him and his life.
Right, yeah.
And I think he probably haunts it as well.
Maybe he does.
It was his...
Maybe a couple of happy pensioners also haunt the place as well.
Well, he would have been there about 40 years. So, he'd go back if it was his happy place. But I think the lady upstairs was a former manageress that would obviously welcome people.
Yes, yeah.
Maybe the top one was the salon privé where the very poshest people used.
Quite. Yeah.
And she welcomed them in as they... arrived.
Hello and good evening. Yeah.
Good evening and welcome. Because when that happened, because people heard about it, some of the staff were taking the mickey, saying, "Oh, it was David Frost," because that's what he used to say.
He did. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening, welcome. They went, "Oh, it's David Frost. It's all in upstairs."
That's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
So they have a giggle about it, but no, that did happen.
Yeah.
And then recently, because it's now it was an art gallery for a little while. It was derelict for a while, and then an art gallery moved in. But now on the first floor, there's a marketing company. And just briefly, I've got a paranormal group on Facebook.
Right.
And I put on there my experiences on the group. And then someone said, "Oh, well, I work there." He's one of the bosses. He runs this marketing company. And he said, "We've had some strange things going on in there." And now this all makes sense. Well, I then told him about things that would happen.
Mm.
And there's another thing that happened to me. It was at the end of the night, we'd count all the money. A few of you would stay behind.
Yeah.
And we had counted the money, and we were waiting for the cashier to finish up and with the manager. And we were sitting in a bar area. There was myself and two dealers. They were sitting about 20 feet away from me. And all of a sudden, I had a freezing, when I say freezing cold, I mean an Arctic blast breeze started blowing over me. And I thought, "Oh, where's that coming from?" I'm looking round. And we did have fans, but the fan was not. This must have been summertime.
Yeah.
But it was absolutely ice cold. And I'm trying to look to see where this draft is coming from. And I've looked down, we had flyers on the table, advertisement flyers, and I saw it fluttering in the breeze. It was like a really strong breeze.
Right.
And ice cold. And that really freaked me out, because that would have been after I'd had my name called and everything. I knew the place was haunted then.
Yeah.
And that was all, I couldn't wait to get out of there. That was the other thing that happened to me.
I don't blame you. It sounds like an incredibly active place indeed. We're into the last...
It was. There's so many other staff members that had, like, they'd be doing a building check at the end of the night, and they'd go into the restaurant, turn the lights off in there. Oh, sorry, no, they used to go in because it would already be off the lights.
Yeah.
Turn the lights on, make sure there was no one hiding in the restaurant, and then turn them off.
That's
right.
right.
They'd go in there, and the lights would come on before they even got to the switch.
Yeah, gosh. Well, it's one of those places, isn't it? Yeah. Well, I must. Sorry to cut you a little short there. We're in the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, sorry, I've rabbited on.
No, not at all. Very, very, very interesting indeed. Thank you ever so much for the call. It sounds like one of those places.
It's a great show, Eerie, as well, I'd like to say.
Oh, thank you very much.
Before you go.
Thank you for that. I'll take that. Yes, thank you ever so much.
Oh, we'll be in touch on email and tell you some other things.
Yeah, smashing, that's good. And thank you again for the call. Very interesting. Thank you.
You're more than welcome.
All
okay,
right.
Bye-bye.
Cheerio.
Cheerio, bye.
And that was the haunted casino that was restaurant. It certainly sounds like a very active place. We've got one more call hitting the lines right now. Can you guys still hear all this, or has it gone? Let's answer that. Call. Good evening. You're on Eerie's Vault Live.
Hello, Eerie.
Hello, Flair. Good evening.
Good evening to you. I can't. I've got a little experience. This happened this week. Just a little bit of a quick one before the show ends.
Yes, very good.
So, I've been having we've been having a lot of work done to the house, to the apartment where I live. And I've been having a lot of interference, with the Wi-Fi and the phones and everything.
Yes.
That's normal. That's completely normal. But one of the nights, it was about 12:30 going on, and my Wi-Fi went down, so I went to go and check the box to check, what's going on. Do I need to throw it at the wall?
Oh, the router. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Yep. Do I need to hit it again? Yeah.
So I unplugged it, turned it on, turned it off. Shrugged my shoulders, went, I'm just going to go back to sleep. I'm listening to one of your, old videos.
Oh.
I was, just enjoying myself. Like, dang, it's turned off. Just enjoying that, getting into that. And a friend of mine was on the call as well, listening to me just react to it. And my dog Tricket was in the room, and I'd left my phone in the other room, so nobody was there. And I just hear this creaking behind me, and I'm like, creaking? And my settee just inched forward towards me, and I'm like, what's
Good
this?
Lord. Okay.
So I just looked at it. Obviously, when you hear furniture moving, it was coming towards me just very slowly, so it stopped. So I turned around, put my hands on my hips. I'm like, nope, I'm done. I'm done with this. So I went back into the room and said to my friend, I've just seen the settee move, and they're like, oh, it's happened again. Something new has happened.
Again?
Yeah, again. Like, yeah, the settee's just moved by itself. So the next morning, I decided that, I'm going to take a little look, see what's going on. The settee was still in the same position that I left it that night. I looked at the back, looked at the front, and I realized, well, if I'd have knocked into it while looking at the router, it would have gone back. It wouldn't have gone forward. So very strange encounters going on since all the building work started. That
is very odd, isn't it? It's the creeping couch of terror. Yes.
Yep. It was just really weird because nothing had happened. Nothing's happened for weeks, and then just suddenly that happened.
Yeah.
But it all started. I've had a really restless feeling the last, I'd say, 2 weeks or so with everything going on. Not like I feel restless, but it feels like everything is restless.
Yes, I know what you mean. Yeah, and maybe something else feels like that too.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't want you to be up at this time seeing to your Wi-Fi. Go to bed. I'm going to pull the couch out on you. But again, I actually went and had a look. And like, did anything knock into it? Did anything fall down? There was no wires.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I do have wrapping paper behind, wrapping paper at the side of it. Did a roll fall and push it? And then I was like,
it'd have to be pretty heavy to push a couch, wouldn't it?
Yeah, to push a couch towards me. And again, I wish I had my phone to actually record this because I'd love you to have seen it, Eerie. But again, with my phone and tablet not really working, I was like, well, I don't know.
You're preoccupied with the router, yes.
Yeah, basically. So it was, again, really weird. But like I said, at the moment, the house just feels kind of restless.
Yes, it sounds like it.
Had a really restless feeling for about a couple of weeks or so.
Goodness me! Well, I would try sitting on the chair instead of the sofa. I think that's your safest thing. Fleur, we've run out of time. Do excuse me. We've run out of time there. We've hit the top of the hour. ladies and gentlemen, that's Fleur's creeping couch of terror.
I'm glad you let that one hear
I do.
Again. It really, again, freaked me out. I'm like, oh, forget it, thanks, bye, I'm out. But I'm glad that you this one. It's not the cat one, but it is.
It's still a good one.
see you. Well, I'll see if I have a story for you soon, Eerie.
Yes, indeed.
Lovely to talk to you.
Thank you very much indeed, Fleur. Thanks for the call to close us out. Thank you.
Take care.
Yes,
bye, everyone.
cheerio.
Bye,
Goodbye. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is the wrap for tonight. What a show it's been tonight. It's been fabulous, I have to say. What a real mix of interesting calls and some really good stuff tonight. I'm very happy with that stream. Thank you all so much to everybody in the chat. Thank you all to the patrons. Thank you all to the callers and those who emailed in and everything and made tonight's show especially good. And to all you newbies who've joined us, I do hope you will join us again. I hope you've enjoyed the show. Apparently, settee is the right term, with 46% of people saying settee, 31% saying sofa, and only 23% saying couch, which is what I say. So I'm one of the 23% because I voted as well. Yes, I did. Thanks, everyone, ever so much once more. Have a fantastic weekend as I frantically search for the terminated transmission button. Good night.